Hi guys, could we be about to see the end of hostilities in Ukraine? Vladimir Zelensky sat down with the Sky News reporter and explained to him how he was willing to negotiate a ceasefire with Putin. What was very interesting in this interview, which he conducted mostly in Ukrainian, was that he would be willing to cede some Ukrainian territory in exchange for the ultimate in security guarantees, NATO membership. Putin has rejected such an idea in the past, but Zelensky may be issuing such a carrot and stick not just for the benefit of Russia, but also with an eye on a future Trump administration. Have a listen to this.
Well, one alternative, perhaps, again, this is reported from the United States, and it's fairly simple, really, is that Ukraine joins NATO, but Russia takes control and keeps the land that it has to date. Would that be a possibility?
Ніхто не пропонував нам бути в НАТО.
No one has offered us to be in NATO with just one part or another part of Ukraine.
Закінчити гарячу стадію.
That's for once.
Факт.
The fact is that it is a solution to stop the hot stage of the war, because we can just give the NATO membership to the part of Ukraine that is under our control.
Факт. Можна було б, ніхто не пропонував.
Yes, it could be possible, but no one offered.
Треба робити.
But the invitation must be given to Ukraine within its internationally recognized border.
Ви не можете давати тільки частині.
You can't give invitation to just one part of a country. Why? Because thus you would recognize that Ukraine is only that territory of Ukraine and the other one is Russia.
Тому я і сказав, юридично ми не маємо права.
So legally, by law, we have no right to recognize the occupied territory as territory of Russia.
І тут не можна помилятись.
And here we must not make any mistake.
Зупинити гарячу стадію війни.
But if we want to stop the hot stage of the war,
зонтик, амбрелу,
we should take under NATO umbrella the territory of Ukraine that we have under our control.
швидко. А далі
That's what we need to do fast. And then Ukraine can get back the other part of its territory diplomatically.
Ось що я сказав, що таку пропозицію
So, and this proposal has never been considered by Ukraine because no one has ever offered that to us officially.
не запропонував.
We
Юридично
can't, by law, recognize our territory, Ukrainian territory, under occupation of Russia as Russian. That is impossible. That is against the constitution of Ukraine.
Конституцію України.
I understand completely your position. It is interesting, though, because it seems to me you have moved to a point that if you could get your NATO membership, you would have accept that we could be moving into a ceasefire and potential talks, peace talks. And at some point in the future, you would consider diplomatically how to get your land back. That's quite a big step, because you're never going to accept that it's Russia's, but as you say, physically, they will hold it. But it could bring the war to a close.
A lot of different countries proposed a ceasefire. So the question is, ceasefire where? That is the question. The second point is, if we speak ceasefire, guarantees that Putin will not come back.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, I commented you about NATO. Yes, NATO immediately the part of Ukraine. And we need it very much. Otherwise, he will come back. Otherwise, how we can go to ceasefire? Mm-hmm. So it's very, for us, it's very dangerous. That's what I mean.
Very, very interesting. And it's understandable that Ukraine don't want to give up territory, but they also need to guarantee their security. So they have fought hard to defend their territory, and it's going to be very difficult for him politically to sell this maybe to the public. Now, there seems to be support within Ukraine for some sort of peace deal with Russia. But it's an interesting dynamic what he's presenting, the idea that Ukraine would, as a whole, become part of NATO, but the parts that are occupied by Russia at the moment would remain occupied by Russia, and they would be eventually, this issue would be resolved in some diplomatic way some years from now. The important thing is to end the fighting. This has to happen. Now, I think what Zelensky is doing here is he's suggesting, look, Russia, we will end this. You can occupy those territories. We will resolve them in the future, but we need a guarantee that you will not expand. We need a guarantee that you won't come back in a few years' time and attack us again. So we need the ultimate guarantee, that would be NATO membership. So this is both, a message for Russia, but also a message for the West, a message for the incoming US president. Look, you want to see this war end. I want to see this war end. Russia wants perhaps to see this war end. It's not benefiting either of us, but we need a guarantee, and the guarantee would be NATO membership. So I'm willing to take that step forward. I'm willing to cede part of my territory, at least in the short term, in the medium term, in order to have that guarantee. So if Trump wants to end this war, he will have to put pressure on Russia to accept NATO membership in Ukraine becoming a member of NATO. Because if he doesn't, then we're probably going to see this flare up once again. There's no guarantee that Russia will accept this. There's no guarantee that Trump will support this idea. We'll have to wait and see. But in order to achieve some sort of peace there has to be two things on the table. One, that Putin can go away saving face, saying, look, what we did was we went into the Donbass, we have Crimea, we have maintained our position. But on the other hand, Ukraine needs these guarantees. Because as we've seen in Georgia, as we see in Moldova, Putin and Russia are not interested in peace. They're interested in expansion. But in order to save face, Putin needs something that he can present to the public as a victory. Yes, we went into Ukraine, we've protected the Donbass, we've protected these Russian-speaking areas, and we've sealed the deal with Ukraine. So I think the idea of taking Kiev at this stage is a pipe dream, and I think most Russians understand that. So in order to end this, there needs to be that guarantee. We control these territories. We can resolve the dispute in the future, but we have to allow Ukraine this guarantee. Now, selling the idea of NATO membership extended to Ukraine in Russia is going to be very difficult. It could bring down Putin. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.